Hey, Root Wings community, I'm going to walk you through real quick some of the most important data that you need to understand right now. And even if you don't live in San Diego or California, I'm going to explain why this data matters, because we can't contain what is happening to San Diego right now, which means we will be exporting it to a neighborhood near you, if not your neighborhood. So here we go. San Diego, California is again hitting in the top 3 sectors of border counties that are bringing in illegal foreigners in the nation. Now, why does this matter? This matters so significantly because San Diego is in a sanctuary state. Back in 2017, under Governor Jerry Brown, he threw a temper tantrum along with all the Democrats in our legislature. They were upset that Trump was going to shut down the border and enact harsher restrictions on illegal foreigners getting into our country illegally. So the Democrats threw a temper tantrum and decided to pass legislation without a citizen vote. It was a party line vote in the legislature to enact a policy that made us a sanctuary state, which basically handcuffs all of our law enforcement and renders them unable to do anything when illegal foreigners come over. So for those of you who saw the viral video with the boat that crashed into Carlsbad over the weekend, so many of you asked, why didn't anyone do anything? Where were the police? Where were the lifeguards? Those questions are important. And let me tell you what the core problem is. When SB 54 passed, it rendered all of those protectors, our law enforcement, unable to do their job. I reached out to Sheriff Chad Bianco up in Riverside and asked him for his statement on SB 54. And here's what he said. SB 54 made it illegal for law enforcement to protect California from foreign national criminals. It was another example of the state lying to us to pass their agenda. The bill was called the, quote, California Values Act. Whose values care more about criminals than victims and law-abiding residents? In hindsight, 54 was the precursor to allow the invasion of our southern border, and Sacramento prevented your law enforcement officers from protecting us. JJ Carroll, I reached out to him. He is a 24-year Border Patrol agent and an expert on the border. He said the politicians have taken billions of dollars away from its residents and diverted all of it to illegal aliens. This will have a profound impact on the quality of life here in San Diego. The enormous amount of gang members, criminals, foreign soldiers, and terrorists coming through San Diego and staying and leaving is terrifying. So here's the problem. SB 54 gets enacted. As soon as that's enacted, boom, we are a sanctuary state. Our law enforcement's hands are totally tied. They can do nothing. So when you see those foreigners jump into SUVs, we can't do anything about it. Our officers, their hands are fully tied against these invaders. Let's walk through a little bit of the data for you to get a clear picture on what is happening in San Diego. In San Diego, California, we are again hitting the top sector all through the nation of the highest number of illegal foreigners coming through our border. Again, because of SB 54 and because we are designated a sanctuary state, we can do nothing against it. Our law enforcement's hands are tied. So when they come in, it's green light, baby. They get to go wherever they please, and no one can lift a finger against them. So they get to head to an Uber, or down in San Diego at the Iris Center, where there's a huge drop-off that happens daily for these legal foreigners. We don't know where they go. We have no way of knowing where they are going. So speaking of this, let's look at the numbers. Since October in San Diego, we have brought in 126,000 illegal foreigners. Just to give you a picture on that, that is the equivalent of filling up the Padres Stadium down in San Diego 3 times over with illegal foreigners. You may have seen this. I posted this because I want you guys to understand the sheer number, the magnitude of what we are seeing in San Diego. So in the last 6 months, we as a nation have brought in 24,200 illegal foreign Chinese nationals. 24,200. Now, to put that in perspective, that is more than 53 times all of 2021 combined. So in 6 months, we've brought in more than 53 times all of 2021 with the number of illegal Chinese nationals coming through our border. Where are they going? What are they doing here? We don't know. And in California, we can't ask because of SB 54 that was passed as a temper tantrum against Trump's policies. The record number of Chinese nationals that are encountered at our southern border does not include gotaways, boat invaders, or the 17,700 Chinese foreigners admitted into the US through the CBP One app. The majority of those crossing the US-Mexico border are coming through San Diego, California. So the question is, what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? Well, we're throwing more money at the problem that our politicians are creating, more of our money, because the government does not make money, it spends yours. So the County of San Diego and the Catholic Charities NGO are getting $38 million to support the invasion, because we should call it what it is. That's what it is. It's not stopping anything. It's not trying to prevent any crossing. It's not trying to work to change the policy that's allowing this. No, it's throwing federal money that belongs to us at the problem that is being created by the politicians. So $38 million thrown at this to an NGO and to the county. Okay, so some of you might think, well, that's good, right? Like, throw some money at it. Maybe we can fix the problem. Well, I'm here to tell you that we already tried that once in San Diego. We tried that back a few months ago. Our politicians at the county said, let's create a migrant welcome center. And essentially they took over a building and they processed some 81,000 illegal foreigners, had zero long-term plan about what that was going to be, what the long-term vision was for this facility, other than keeping them out of sight, out of mind from the general public. So no more street releases, charge their cell phone, give them some water, give them a snack, and tell them to enjoy their stay in America. Well, we're going to do it again, guys. We're going to do Migrant Welcome Center 2.0. And now that the federal government is funding it, I mean, this can go on. The idea is that it will be permanent. Now, the data shows us that as soon as that temporary migrant welcome center was opened in San Diego, the crossings skyrocketed. Why? Because it incentivizes these illegal foreigners to cross the border and to have somewhere that they can come, charge their phones, get some food, get a drink, and then be sent nicely on their merry way. So it's an incentivizer for these illegal foreigners to continue pouring through. So how are you affected by this, and what can you do about it? Well, the reality is that I live here, and I can tell you we don't see all these illegal foreigners in San Diego. I mean, we see them at the drop sites. I drive through Jacumba and I see them sitting there waiting for Border Patrol to give them to a ride to their street release or to the Uber or wherever they're going, but we don't see them. But the reality is, in the last few months, we have brought in so many illegal foreigners that we could fill up Padres Stadium, Petco Park 3 times. So where are they going? They're not staying here. And that's why it affects you. They are headed to your neighborhood. We are bringing them in under sanctuary status protected laws. We're giving them taxpayer fun, all the things, and then we're sending them to you. So this actually does matter if you don't live in San Diego and you don't want to see your counties and states overrun by what San Diego and California is bringing in for the rest of the nation. So what can you do about it? The first thing is to keep your eyes open and to record and document anything you see, and to send that to border.rootedwings@protonmail.com. I have very high standard of keeping every single one of you completely anonymous and sharing with full anonymity and protection for you. Number 2 is to get your house in order. I am on repeat with telling you guys that at the end of the day, the government is not coming to save you. And it is so important for you to be well prepared for whatever is coming, for whatever is headed our direction. Get your house in order. I'm going to drop it right here so you can see where you can go for a shoppable guide. I have made it very easy for you to see items that you can start to chip away at to get yourself fortified against anything that's coming. That is so important. The third thing that you can do, SB 54, if you are in California, is the root of the problem. And we need to start putting pressure on our elected officials and telling them that they need to overturn the sanctuary state status that is California. SB 54 should have never passed. It was never up to the California citizens, and it needs to go. So start to get really loud with your elected officials and reps in the the legislature, and also your county officials. Tell them to declare your county a legally protected county and no longer a sanctuary county. I believe that we can make a ton of headway if we are relentless on this front. Stay vigilant, document what you see, get your house in order, and then get familiar with your elected reps in the legislature and in your county, and let them know and be relentless about it that you no longer want California to be designated a sanctuary state. And this is how we can actually move the needle against all the unsafe policies that are posing a national threat for the entire nation.